Hey guys, Jay from Hoops Exclusive here. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, be sure to do that now and give this video a like to help boost this channel moving forward. Now, we have ourselves another tampering allegation / investigation. Now, we've seen this over the league in the past couple years. Obviously, we saw Magic Johnson get fined after talking about Giannis possibly coming to the Lakers. We've seen over there at Boston when Kemba Walker was meant to sign there. Pretty much everyone around the league knew he was going to sign, before free agency even opened up. We saw it last year as well when the Milwaukee Bucks were trying to sign Bogdan Bogdanovic before free agency, and now we're seeing it again with the signed trades of Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry, which many people knew they were going to their respective teams, days before free agency even opened up again. So we've seen it over the past couple years, and we see it again here. And let's face it, if we're being totally honest, 100% of the teams around the NBA are tampering. It's just that some teams do a better job of not leaking it out to the public. And on the other hand, if every team's doing it, should it really be called tampering? If the whole league's doing it? But then on the other side, the league does have rules, and teams should really be sticking to those rules. But when you can land players like Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry, who can make a significant difference to your team moving forward, teams are going to be looking to jump on that quickly, because it's going to be a defining moment for their teams moving forward and for the significant future. But Woj and Ramona Shelburne, really significant figures in the NBA reporting, made some pretty, demanding comments about this whole situation between Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry moving forward. So I'll just bring that up now, and let's see what they had to say about the whole situation. So Woj had this to say on Instagram, reporting with Ramona Shelburne on ESPN. The NBA has opened up investigations into possible tampering violations involving 2 sign and trade deals completed in free agency. New Orleans and Chicago centered on Lonzo Ball, and Toronto and Miami centered on Kyle Lowry. Story soon. 2 years ago, NBA elevated maximum tampering fines to $10 million for teams and opened doors for suspension of executives, forfeiture of draft picks, and voiding contracts. Team execs can also have their communications, such as phone records, texts, and emails, randomly audited. So, wow, that's some pretty heavy shit there from Woj, and the first thing I take away from that is a $10 million fine. I mean, $10 million is pretty steep, but with the, knowing that the owners of many teams are probably billionaires, it's probably not going to hurt them too much, but $10 million is $10 million. And then the fact that, they have the ability, the NBA, to suspend executives, that's pretty, pretty heavy as well. I mean, to have your executive away from the team, it doesn't state how long they can suspend them for or whatnot. We're yet to know details on that, but the fact that they have the ability to suspend executives, and then Woj goes on to say that they even have the ability to void contracts. I mean, imagine voiding a contract after everything's been signed and whatnot between 2 different teams, and then you've built your team around the player that you've brought in. And that just goes to show how much power the NBA have. And, teams, this is a shot at teams and everyone around the league to respect the NBA's authority there. So, the NBA looking at this as, they're sort of fed up with everything that's happening in the league. They obviously know that teams are out there talking to free agents and whatnot beforehand, but I think it's just the fact that, the news is actually coming out publicly is what they're having, issues with there. And I think this is another notice to the league that just to keep things on the hush when you're talking, and don't let it leak out to the media. Obviously, there's all this media out there that wants to get the goss and stuff, so teams have to be very careful about who's inside their house and leaking this stuff, because the NBA's on their ass at the moment. But the fact that they can void contracts, I mean, we've seen it, that the NBA voided Chris Paul's contract. He's moved to the Lakers back in the day. This is a completely different scenario, but it just goes to show that the NBA has, authority over everything that happens in the league. But imagine the Bulls, getting pulled out of their offer for Lonzo Ball, or the Heat no longer being able to, acquire Kyle Lowry and completely ruining all their plans. I mean, the NBA literally has that authority to do so. So teams are gonna, want to be looking out for what they're doing, because it seems like the NBA really wants to crack down on this. And then we have to think about what this means for the future, because I think ultimately, this will just end up leading to, possibly the Bulls, Pelicans, Miami, and those teams getting fined. But if the NBA really wants to stop this, do they actually have to, put their foot on the throttle and start voiding some contracts so this stuff doesn't stop happening? And then how will the league react to that? So it's very, I'm going to keep a close eye on this scenario, because I think it's a very, untalked about scenario at the moment. Because do the league make an example of this so that it never happens in the future again? But I think with all the pieces that have been, put into these trades, it's just going to be a whole big mess if they do decide to void these contracts. And I think ultimately they'll just hand out a lot of fines. But imagine if it actually happened, and then, it's just going to be a whole big mess, like something we've never seen before. So it's going to be interesting to see what the NBA do with this, and do they ultimately, in the future, have to put their foot down and make a statement to the league so this sort of stuff just stops happening, even though the league know it happens, underneath the carpet every year. But it's definitely something to keep a close eye on. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation, and do subscribe to the channel and like the video to help us boost this channel moving forward. It's been your boy Jay from Hoops Exclusive. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.